Well, here we go. We're entering peak earning season. So today I'm going to go through a bit like last week, tell you which stocks I'm looking out for this week, going into this big week of earning season. And just like last week, talk about Netflix. Netflix potentially to move the market, which it did. We had a very good week, especially on Tuesday. Netflix kind of lift the market up, and then when we got to Thursday, one of the key ones was Snapchat. Snapchat came out and reported numbers, and like I said on the video, if the bad numbers, it'll probably drag the whole market down. It'll drag Google down, it'll drag Pinterest down, it'll drag Facebook down, Meta, and it happened. And we still had a pretty good week last week, but Snapchat kind of ruined the party towards the end of it. So yeah, I'll go through the stocks that I'm looking at this week and which probably will be the key drivers that move us forward this week. So we'll take a look. And by the way, thank you for you guys that are still reporting that fake Instagram account. I have no idea how this fake account even has more followers than my actual Instagram account, just to make you aware of that. But yeah, for some reason, Instagram keep turning around and go, oh, we have no proof that this is a fake account. And I'm like, I'm literally reporting you on the real one. And yeah, so anyway, thank you for you guys that are doing that. So getting on to the earnings that are this week. And by the way, it's worth shouting out that on the UK scene, there's a lot of big earnings coming up on the UK scene as well. I'm not going to mention or go into detail with them much today, but if we do have a look at, hold on, I'm on the wrong one, here we go, Shell, AstraZeneca, Diageo, Rio Tinto, British American Tobacco, GSK, Lloyds, I think there's Airtel Africa, there's I think National Express are potentially reporting earnings, Rightmove, there's a lot of UK stocks reporting earnings this week as well. And also there's that many on the US side of it. This week's kind of like the big tech, and then we'll get into this few of the smaller caps in the next few weeks. But there's a few ones that are reported earnings that don't even make this list that I'm going to show you. Like an InMode, for example, because it's a little bit smaller, earnings whispers don't feature it. But like an InMode's reporting earnings this week. They report earnings on the 28th of July. Now we've had preliminary earnings from them and they were really strong, and I'm sure when they bring out their actual earnings, they'll be even better than what we expected. The risk with InMode, as it normally does, is that actually when they bring out the full earnings, all the excitement's been taken up with the preliminary earnings, so we might see a drop. We'll see what happens, what normally happens with InMode and their earnings. But like, this isn't even going to get mentioned, but like, this is another stock that's reporting earnings that I own. But we'll get onto this list, earnings whispers list. So these are the most anticipated earnings this week. Monday, I mean, look at Wednesday. You'll have to let me know which you think is the crazy day this week. I think I'm going with Wednesday, but Monday's the easy one. Monday's the one where you can have a little bit of chill time, a little bit of rest time before earnings go absolutely crazy. There's a few interesting ones still on Monday though. I mean, you know, some of you guys might own Philips, Squarespace, Whirlpool, Logitech, but it's a little bit more of a chill day. But then when we enter Tuesday, that's where things start to get a little bit crazy. So first of all, we've got UPS. UPS is a key one because we get a bit of data on the economy, obviously like e-commerce, how, you know, we get a real kind of insight into how much is being sent. And normally when you have a very good economy, UPS is still doing quite well. So that's a key one to look out for on Tuesday morning. Followed up by Coca-Cola, GM, General Electric, McDonald's, Raytheon. Don't all have the potential to move the market in say a way of it, believe it or not, a Snapchat or a Netflix. But yeah, I'm sure a few of you guys own a couple of these ones. After the close though, we start getting the big ones. These big ones will move the market, especially these top three going forward. So first of all, we've got Google. Google's going to be an interesting one to see how they're doing. And I think with Snapchat already pricing in a, who could believe that Snapchat would move Google like down 5-6%, but with Google already pricing in a bit of an awful earnings report, I think unless it does really bad numbers, Google should do okay. I am really surprised to see Google back at this, and it's adjusting for this split basis. I'm still getting used to this, calling Google at $107. But on this basis here, like when it does kind of hit these bottoms here, I never thought Google would get back down to this like 106, 107 in this sort of range. So now it's back down here. You know, we had a good week last week. My portfolio did very well last week, and Google actually didn't. Google's one of the stocks that didn't follow that trend, and it was actually down 10% last week. So I'm really surprised to see Google down here when we had such a good week. Obviously, the Friday did help contribute to that a fair amount, but yeah, I think I'd be surprised to see Google go lower. If it does, I won't mind too much because I'll carry on building that position up. But I think there's a lot of negativity already priced into that one going into their earnings. But that's going to be a key one to look at. Microsoft, obviously, that's going to be a key one. They normally smash it. Still priced at a little bit of a higher valuation, though. I've owned that company for 5 years now. Obviously up 150% while collecting some lovely dividends. That's obviously excluding dividends. So that's been a really good performance in the last 5 years, and I'm sure they'll probably come out with solid earnings. The only way Microsoft will drop is if it comes out with really poor earnings. But I wouldn't expect it to jump either, just because it trades at a decent valuation. Visa's obviously another key one. Looking at American Express last week, their earnings were really strong, which was really bullish for the economy, because they were basically coming out and saying transactions are still strong, defaults are very low. So we're looking probably for Visa to do something very similar to American Express. Being on a very good run, I own Visa. I think I'm like 50% on it, and yeah, I'll carry on owning it. And it's probably between these three you will definitely direct the market for the next kind of couple of days, or until we get these sort of numbers out. So yeah, they're key ones to be watching out for. We then have Enphase. I know a few guys like Enphase, AAA, Skechers. These are your three big dogs though on Tuesday. Wednesday, Shopify. I'll be looking to see how Shopify's doing. Last earnings, the market weren't happy with their earnings, so we'll see if the situation's getting any better, any worse. But I'll be interested to see Shopify's earnings. I really enjoy Shopify's earnings all the time. It's one of the companies that I do look forward to getting an earnings call from. Boeing's actually really interesting. I don't know if any of you guys track Boeing, but management have really ballsed it up in the last few years. There's no way to put it other than that. They've ballsed it up. And I think they've got to a point where I don't know if they can balls it up any more than what they have done. I mean, it can be proven wrong, but yeah, a lot of that's priced in now. And hopefully management can't get any worse than what it is right now, and they've learned from the lessons. But if you look at Boeing now, the orders they're bringing in are huge. And the big thing with Boeing is they can get away with it, because when you are one of the only manufacturers of aeroplanes, everyone needs airplanes. And everyone can't go to Airbus because Airbus can't meet the demand. It's one of the biggest moats out there. And when you look at Boeing and you look at the price it's at, and you look at the orders they're delivering, Boeing is actually quite interesting at $158. So it's probably one that's worth looking at. I'm currently looking at this one as well and see how this one does, because it's priced so low. Even it's not got the best of managements, is so lucky that it's basically untouchable because of the moat it's in. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that one. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking on it. Spotify, Waste Management, one of the king dividend stocks. Bristol Myers Squibb, I know a few guys play that as a dividend stock. After close, I think this is the big one. I think Wednesday's the big day. Meta, already pricing in a bit of a drop because of Snapchat. So unless it comes out with terrible earnings at 12 times earnings, I think it should be okay. In fact, all it has to do is basically do okay numbers, not come out with an awful guidance, and this stock should be up. We'll see what happens though, because it is a bit of 50-50 in earnings season. And obviously I'm not a short-term investor, I'm here for the long term, but I'm just giving you guys my opinion on the situation. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Meta. Their actual last earnings actually weren't too bad actually at all. So we've got Meta, Ford, Qualcomm, Teladoc. People have been asking me about Teladoc. What are my plans with T-Doc? I'm just not buying it at the moment, because the thing is, we saw T-Doc's earnings. They were okay, but they weren't amazing. It'll be interesting to see what kind of outlook they come out with. And I can't buy T-Doc while we've got a stock like Hims. And Hims is absolutely smashing it. I've got to put my capital in this one. So it'll be interesting to see if T-Doc come around with a bit of a stronger quarter than what they had last time. They are priced very low at the moment, so they can afford to kind of come in with a average earnings report. The only way they probably go down is if the earnings report is terrible, which can happen because the last earnings report was not a good one. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on T-Doc and see what they report with. So yeah, T-Doc. Etsy I like. The only reason why I'm not buying Etsy is because of the debt on the balance sheet. But I'll be keeping an eye on their earnings report. Lam Research, ServiceNow, Quantum Scope. Thursday, MasterCard will probably be pretty much priced in depending on what Visa does. But interesting to keep an eye on. Pfizer, Tilray. On the Thursday close, Apple's going to be one of the key ones to see how that one moves the market between Apple and Amazon. They're probably going to move the market going into the Friday. Apple is an interesting one. They keep smashing it more than what I thought they would smash it. So yeah, we'll see how strong iPhone sales are going for them guys. Amazon have been struggling. The last couple of earnings from Amazon haven't been absolutely amazing. However, I think the valuation of Amazon is getting a little bit attractive. If it wasn't for Meta and like Google being at these sort of prices, I potentially could be a shareholder of Amazon right now, but I just think Meta and Google are better opportunities. But I'll be keeping an eye on that one for sure. Roku is interesting. Don't want to own it because I've got Disney, but it's interesting. Intel, obviously a lot of people are playing that one as a bit of a turnaround play. For me, they're still not executing anywhere close to that turnaround play at the moment, so it'll be interesting to get an update and see if they're getting closer to that. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on that one. Friday on the open, ExxonMobil, Chevron, AbbVie is a pretty good dividend stock, AstraZeneca. So yeah, Friday a little bit more quieter, but still a few stocks that you guys might own that play them as a bit of a dividend stock, I would say. So yeah, those are the big earnings coming up this week. Obviously, we enter a lot of the big tech, and the next couple of weeks afterwards, we'll have a few of the smaller caps that start coming in. But it's a big week. A lot of big companies. I'm sure you own one of them that's reporting this week. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be making a video about one of them at least this week. So yeah, those are the key things to keep an eye on this week, and the ones that potentially could move the market. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little preview going into this week. If you could hit the like button if you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video.